Morning, gentlemen. Can you tell us a bit about your background? I know you've got a storied career in law and you're from the beautiful city of Swansea.
Indeed. I think I'll let you fire away.
Yeah, so background, I started at a big corporate law firm, Cliff Taker Hofmeyer, working in their corporate department in mergers and acquisitions. So basically doing the whole service offering from due diligence on a company to negotiating the terms of the purchases or the sales and drafting all the documents in between, and then advising clients on the best ways to buy a business, to invest in a business, and to set up their corporate structures. Met Brett initially through sport, and then later on in business, and I find it sort of really helpful having that background in running our own business, being able to make decisions with a bit more authority and better background in business and in risk and managing your risk, and sort of putting your best foot forward in terms of that.
I think it started with us in terms of playing for Hamilton's rugby club, and you showing good leadership skills, and he was actually our captain for Hamilton. So yeah, he showed good leadership skills, and I definitely saw something within Zack that I would have liked to have taken forward into a business venture. And we chatted for a long time and back and forth, and it went on for quite a few months actually. And then we I presented him with a small offer to jump on board, and the transition didn't take long for him to finally come across full time.
So you're in the business thus far. What have been some of the challenges and opportunities you found?
Currently, the main challenges are asset finance and generating enough finances to actually conduct the work that you have on the table. There's two young guys very eager in the industry, and we're finding work left, right and centre. Some good work, some bad work, but in general there's a lot of work on the table, and it's quite difficult to service that without the correct funding.
Yeah, I think it's just adding to that. I mean, it's never, our problem has never been getting clients or getting work. We were, I think, lucky in a way to be profitable from very early on. It was purely a matter of getting the right assets to carry out the work that we need to carry out. I think right in the beginning we had our first contract before we actually had our first machine, and we have luckily grown to a place where we don't have to scramble and run around like that anymore. But in order to take on the bigger and the more lucrative work, you need to make sure you've got the assets to produce the work.
Which in turn you need the money to buy the machines.
Absolutely, and mining is often seen as the old boys club, breaking into some of those circles.
Not too bad actually. I think it's it's a perception. I think in life, there's a lot of markets, a lot of industries that you potentially feel you can't have access to. I think it comes back to two youngsters, hard work, lots of time, effort and persistence that allows you to break into that market, and eventually you get there.
I found the majority of the clients and suppliers in the markets have been very open to giving advice, to giving you a chance to lend a hand here and there, and sometimes you've got to repay that favour to them as well by giving them work and giving them better rates and being a bit flexible. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been, the challenge has been being young, so you're often seen as inexperienced or young, and when the guys across the table are people with years of experience behind their name. But they soon find out if you can produce a service, you're professional, and you can back up what you say, then there's no problem.
And a lot of business coming in. What do you think the key differentiator is in the growth of your business thus far?
I think there's numerous factors. I think factoring from, again, the infrastructure we have within our fundamentals of the business and the company itself with our employees. And I think Zack will delve a bit deeper into that. But going into breaking into the markets up in Johannesburg and on the coal mines.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a bit of new energy. I think that it is a bit of an old boys club, but it is a industry where a lot of guys have done very well, and there's a lot of very, very big work out there. There's also smaller pieces of that pie that some people aren't interested in, and we've never shied away from any work. Sometimes we get the big stuff as a result of that. You could do a smaller project for someone, and if you perform a good enough service, next time he's got something big on the table, he'll look to you. And I think it's that attitude where we take the smallest to the biggest job as seriously as we can. And we've been into the Siki in the Eastern Cape for a few days, where we've hardly sort of covered our costs, but we've also done far bigger jobs in Mpumalanga and Gauteng, where because of those relationships we were rewarded with bigger work.
I think it sounds like a bit of a cliche, you take on any job, big or small, but that's how we base our company, and we have proved to our client base we will provide, and we will provide a service successfully.
And your client base, are you able to share some of your clients thus far, some of the success stories?
Yeah, look, we're not dealing with the major guys at the moment, the likes of Glencore or Anglo American. We're dealing with more feeder companies to them,
slightly lower in the supply chain, guys.
The likes of Maduka Mining, Ukatanda Investments, So people provide services to these bigger corporations.
And then also some of the smaller civils companies in the Eastern Cape, which again is relationship based. Going out there, driving, meeting the guys. Being able to. Lots of the bigger guys won't fly out to Mthatha and go sit down and meet with these guys. They won't take the time out of their day. And I think that's helped us tremendously. Being far more flexible and happy to do whatever our clients need us to do.
And then the remote capability, a lot of your machines are remote, you can operate anywhere.
Absolutely. So all our machinery is mobile, and we've got very good relationships with our transport guys, and we're happy to move our machines to anywhere where we need to.
I think just to give you a bit of insight into moving machinery and establishing on site, depending on your operation and your requirements, we can have the relevant and adequate plant transported and set up, ready to provide material within 2 days.
And then the scope, just how far up into sub-Saharan Africa are you taking this operation?
I think baby steps at the moment, but we are planning to go as big as our clients request again, and as big as the work scope allows us to. Yeah,
I think it's we are locally bound in terms of South Africa right now, and we have had opportunities to go out of South African borders, but the main thing for us is also keeping control. I mean, you've got your employees up there, you've got your machinery up there, which are your biggest assets, and we don't just send a machine somewhere and then let it just sort of do its own thing. You need to show a presence, you need to be there, you need to monitor things, and I mean, we wouldn't be prepared to go into an area where we don't feel comfortable that we can provide the service that we can provide here. So to get to that stage, you need to, the rest of your growth needs to work with that. I mean, we're not going to just send an asset into a place that we have no control over.
And technology, obviously a lot of advancements in the last 5-10 years. How does that play into your business?
Yeah, there has been. I mean, we're working with quite a good supplier of machinery at the moment. We keep it very specific to one supplier actually called Metso Nordberg. They're well known in the industry for crushing and screening, and obviously as technology evolves, they're ahead, they're on the front line of it. So I think dealing with a company like that allows us to move forward with technology.
And the second-hand market's growing in the heavy-duty industry. Are you picking up some bargains on that side of things as well?
Definitely. I mean, when you start out, everyone wants to buy a brand new machine that's got a 2-year warranty and all the service that comes with it. But right in the beginning, for us, that wasn't a possibility. Yeah. And we definitely had to look around on the very old second-hand market as when we started. I mean, times have changed since then, but there are bargains out there. Sometimes you need to do a bit of work on the machinery first, a bit of refurb, and make sure you're not just buying something that's got a new paint job on. But as long as you've got, you do a proper DD on the machine and make sure that it is capable of performing what it needs to do. There are opportunities, yeah.
And I see you've got your employee of the month. I see skills development is obviously very important for you.
Yeah, you can touch on that.
Yeah, I think I think that when we started out, two guys that we wanted to focus on getting as much work as we could, and we knew that when the work actually happens, that's when you let people down. You don't let them down by fighting over specific terms and agreements and things. So getting the right staff was something we took really seriously, and you got to put a lot of trust into your staff. So I think we've tried to do it as differently as we can. We've really tried to look after them have a better relationship with them, pay them better, and make sure that we are continuously developing their skills. It's from the smallest things to the biggest things. It's from when you send someone out to the Eastern Cape and he lives in Cape Town, sending his family up there every now and then to go visit him, and making sure he's got all the relevant certificates and licenses and training that he needs, and then hoping you get the best out of him because of that. I think we've got a few guys that have started sort of as a little bit of an apprentice with it's often their older brother or cousin or something, and then they start learning from the bottom, the smallest things, and it's a proud moment when you see those guys actually, one day being able to, or often within the space of months or a year or so, being able to perform on a level that you could never before.
And also being quite happy doing so. They're very willing employees. They're extremely happy working for us, and this is not just because we get an interview now, but it's something we have prided our business on, and looking after our own. It's such a pleasure to say we actually do look after our people.
I think that it comes down to working with the right clients. There's a lot of guys out there that are doing work with illegal permits where it will cause more damage to the environment than good, where their paperwork isn't in place, where they're not going to do the necessary rehabilitation after the fact, and again boils down to us doing our due diligence before we go into the site to make sure that you're working with the right people. You need to make sure that the guys are having they have their procedures in place to make sure that it's the safest environment that you can have. You need to make sure that you're not putting someone in a position that he's not fully capable of managing. Whether it's for instance, if the weather gets bad, often you need to make sure that safety's first. You need to make sure that the guys have got the right equipment. You need to make sure that there's someone on site who's not just focused on production, but he's actually looking after the safety.
Ultimately, following the correct procedures, making sure that you don't deviate from what's been put in place for you.
Yeah, the DMR is big on that, so you guys are doing it all by the book.
You have to.
Absolutely. We've seen an uptick in the commodities the last 6 months. Obviously good for business for you guys.
Yeah, I think, I'll let you carry on, but I think that we've actually seen it in our production as well, just in terms of how it's increased in the last few months, and it definitely...
Demand has always been there from an export point of view. Obviously not, the pricing hasn't always corresponded with the demand, but of late it's picking up. It's picking up nicely, and as Zack mentioned, on our processing sites our tonnages have significantly picked up, and that just shows you the markets are picking up and they are becoming more stable.
In terms of exports, where are the key markets for that?
I think China's a big, as mentioned before, China's a big player in the market,
And India.
Yeah.
And coal, obviously a big talking point, big for your business?
It's done well for us. It's one of our big focus points
at the moment, for the next 2 years. Yeah.
And we are trying to push as much machinery into that market as we can. We quite like the quick turnaround times with that, and I think it definitely has turned our business around.
Speaking of quick turnaround times, a smaller business, does that make you more streamlined and able to act faster?
It does indeed. That's something also we've worked hard on, providing a service and being able to act a lot quicker in certain circumstances.
Yeah, I think that it's the simple fact that we've dealt with big companies where people can't make decisions. You're dealing with someone he's got red tape all around him, and we've definitely seen the benefit in having
us in the front line making
the decisions. Your staff don't have 50 different procedures they have to follow. It's
quite basic.
You go right to the top, and you can make sure that you're keeping things in track from there.
Speaking of red tape, there's a fair amount in South African mining. Obviously, your background as a lawyer must help.
Yeah,
We're learning.
We realize very quickly that it's an industry that is, you know, there's places you can trip up all around you, and you need to make sure that you do your homework before you go into it. You know, you can't just run in blindly and chuck machines on site. You know, you need to make sure that the procedures are in place. And clients are often demanding, and they want results, and they want, you know, production to start straight away. But I think everyone understands the industry pretty well, the guys that are in it, and we haven't had a problem with that.
As much as we are looking for work, we're also looking at taking on opportunities, but we're also ensuring that we mitigate all our risks, or as much as we can.
And the worst thing to do would be to spread yourself too thin as the business carries on growing.
Absolutely. I think that we often laugh and look back at decisions or opportunities that we said no to, which at the time were tough, and those are the ones you walk away from are often the biggest decisions and the best decisions you make.
And you're based in beautiful Cape Town. Yeah, I'm sure you're getting a few frequent fly miles in.
Yeah, we are. We're racking them up.
Yeah, we enjoy our weekends in Cape Town, and that's we often are limited to that. But you know, it's whether you are based in Johannesburg or in Cape Town or in the Eastern Cape, you're always on the end of a phone, got a computer. There's technology these days allow you to work from wherever you want, really.
Definitely benefits of living in the city, yeah.
Absolutely. And what advice would you give to other youngsters looking to start their own business in the mining sector?
I think do your homework. From my perspective, anyway, I think get as much homework as you can under the belt and work hard, you know. And don't think any mountain's too big to climb. Get stuck in, really enjoy what you do and surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, I think you need people around you that you can rely on, and you need, you know, qualified, and your people are the most important asset of your business, and you need to make sure that the people around you are reliable and can help you grow.
Absolutely. And mining in Wales, is there much of that going on still these days?
It's actually something, it's quite interesting, yeah. We've been looking at opportunities in Wales. I was recently back there a few months ago, and an opportunity presented itself. One of my close friends' family has an underground mine there, anthracite mine, which is currently non-operational for certain reasons within the UK borders. However, it has presented us with an opportunity which we are speaking with guys in South Africa and looking at establishing.
And how would you compare the skill level of working in Wales compared to South Africa?
It's hard to do, you know. It's a completely different environment. In terms of the mining, it's pretty similar. The standards here in South Africa are up to scratch. People are well trained and competent, so I think it's of similarity, yeah.
Absolutely. And you were chatting earlier about possible extensions of the company into the actual logistics side or moving the materials.
Yeah, look, we're at a point in our company where we're always looking for growth and always looking for, if you want to call it, subsidiaries within BG Holdings. And one of them would be, you know, looking at, you know, in addition to processing material, but actually start trading material in the near future. We're currently busy with some smaller transactions, and smaller to certain people, bigger to some. But yeah, that's part of the company we are looking to branch out and bring to the forefront.
Absolutely. Any final words from you guys?
No, I think that we've had a great start, and we're working as hard as we can to maintain that, and you know, learning a hell of a lot while doing it, and still positive and optimistic about it.
Yeah, for sure. Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. BG Holdings, watch out for them.